Welcome to the Sun Powered Life podcast. I'm your host, Dave Grosz. Welcome to the first episode of this show where we're going to be talking about all things solar and more specifically on the residential side of solar. I wanted to break down for you what are some of the things you should be looking out for when you're getting solar. Why should you be going solar? What are the news that are the latest and greatest news that are related to the solar industry? It is one of those industries that I am sure that you've come across in some way, fashion, shape, or form through a conversation with your family, friends, neighbors. You might have even seen the panels going up in your neighbor's house and just wondered, well, what the heck is this all about? So that's what the purpose of this show is, and what I wanted to do is to make sure to bring it to you in an easily digestible and understandable format to where you can make a decision whether or not going solar is right for you. Having solar panels installed on a house is a construction project. There are permits that have to be pulled. There's electrical and other components that have to be installed. So in order to see if your home actually qualifies, it has to meet some certain requirements. Otherwise, the solar panels cannot be installed. Before we dive into any of that, I just want to give you a quick background of how I got here today. So late last year in 2022, I had a friend of mine give me a call and said, "Hey Dave, I recently got into the solar industry. Have you guys looked into solar for your house?" And I told him that my experience with solar, like many of you, I'm guessing, has been the door knockers who come to your door on the most inconvenient time and try to pitch solar. And I just never had the opportunity to actually sit down with somebody because it usually happens at the most inconvenient time when the kids are having dinner, it's bedtime, nap time, and it's just and frankly, I don't want anybody a stranger in my house. I think that model, while it still has its merits, absolutely, it's not something that I was interested in. And so my friend said, I said, "I'm interested, but I don't want really anybody just coming to my house and all that." He said, "Don't worry, everything we're doing is done virtually. It's a low-key educational presentation, and if the numbers make sense, you and your wife can move forward." And I agreed to that, and I said, "Okay, let's do it." So we had the presentation, and it went just like he had promised. We set up a time that was convenient for my wife and I, and the senior advisor was very knowledgeable. He gave us all the information, the education. And the numbers, quite frankly, made a lot of sense, particularly because living here in Central Florida, in Orlando, we get quite high electric bills. And that is, I guess, the first reason that people are even interested in this, because our electric bills and our utility bills have been going through the roof the last couple of years. At least for me, I don't know about you, but it's something that we feel like we have no control over, and every year it just goes higher and higher and without any kind of recourse. So anyway, back to my friend. So we had the presentation, the numbers made sense, and we decided to move forward with getting solar for our house. And that's when I said that more people have got to know that there's a better way for them to get educated about this incredible opportunity out there for us to save some money on our electric bills, and just about the overall benefits of why somebody should or should not go solar. So that's how we got here today, and then being in the industry, or getting started in this industry, and learning really just what is the truth about some of the ways that solar has been sold. It's been absolutely done wrong, and quite frankly, it's been done in a way that has not been in favor of us, the homeowners, and that's a problem. It's something that has tremendous value and benefit, yet it's done in a way where a lot of companies are really, they don't care about the homeowners and doing what's right for them. So again, in this show, what I want to do is to talk to you about some of those things that are going on, helping you help explain to you what the benefits are. Why should you even consider going solar, and just an education on something that I have found great benefit in, and I believe that others can do the same if they just see the proper presentation. So today's first episode of this show, we're not going to get too much into it, but kind of what to expect. Like I mentioned, why, the whys, the hows, the news, the information. Every state, every area, every electric company is different, and there's news that's coming out every single day. This industry is so fast changing. The regulations are there, but they're not as enforced as they should be, and again, there's just a lot. It's the wild west basically out there. So we'll see if we can shed some light on what is really going on out there. But before we wrap this up, I wanted to go over just a couple of things real quick as to really the benefits of solar. The number one thing, as I mentioned, that most people are looking at this is because of a way to reduce their electric bill. Again, bottom line is instead of paying the electric company those high fees, by going solar, basically you replace those payments towards a solar system, the cost of a solar system through a loan, and that gets spread out through different time frames that are available, whether it's, some people decide to buy cash, some it's 5-year, 10-year, 25-year. It can be extended, and that's how those payments become very, very favorable. The second major benefit of switching solar is that there's no upfront out-of-pocket costs. So these systems typically get financed, and there is no, you don't have to pay any money out of pocket upfront to go solar, and that's a huge benefit for a lot of people, because again, it could replace the cost of their electric bill. So it's a bill swap. You're paying the solar system payments as opposed to paying the utility company. And the third benefit is that there is a tax benefit, a 30% government tax benefit for somebody who has a W-2 income, or who has taxable, it doesn't have to be W-2. If you have taxable income as a person, then that tax credit can be applied to that to reduce your taxes. So it's a beautiful savings. It's 30% off of the system, and so those are just the three main points that's as to why go solar, and we'll dive into each and every one of those as this show goes on, and other topics that I mentioned just before. And then lastly, I wanted to open it up to you. You can DM me, send me a message, and find out what your questions are about solar. I'd love to be able to help answer those. Curious to see what's in your mind about solar, and can have a conversation and certainly incorporate that. And these episodes, I plan to keep them around 5, 8, 10 minutes or so, really just bite-sized to get that information quickly, digestibly. And the only thing, I think the only time we will go over that is if we're talking to an expert that I do plan on bringing on, experts in the industry who we can have some conversations with. But for now, I appreciate you checking in. Please hit subscribe on whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to on one of the one of the channels of podcast channels. If you give us a like, a subscribe, and we'll be bringing you some great information that you hopefully will help you make the right decision on solar. See you next time.